come to Papa. Come see your Papa.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Come to Papa, your favorite show of all shows. Good to see you all. Hope you're doing well here in the middle of the winter. Oh, I'm faking my concern because it's 75 degrees here in California, where I am broadcasting today with my good friend, the very talented Bobby Lee.
Wow, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I will be performing in Bellevue at the Parlor Live up in Washington State, coming up Valentine's weekend. Ooh, lovers. And then February 20th, I will be at NJ Pack in Newark, New Jersey, back to the homeland. And then I will be at Laugh Boston up in Boston, which would be weird if it was Laugh Boston in Missouri. But it's in Boston, and I'll be doing 2 shows there at the end of the month. Go to tompapa.com, look up all of my dates. I will be touring like crazy. I hope if you're driving, I think a lot of people listen to this while they're driving. I hope you turn your GPS off just for a minute. Trust yourself. You know where you're going. I trusted my GPS to come here today, and it just takes me horrible places. And then in the middle of it, I know I'm going to a horrible place. I know I shouldn't be listening to it, but I do because I've given up, and I think that the robots are smarter.
But Tom, Wilshire's the biggest street in America. It's like there's
so
nothing
big.
Longer.
It's so long.
Yeah.
Either way you come in, you're just like, I'm not even close.
It's like the wars in the Middle East just never end. You know what I mean? It's just, it keeps going.
You are listening to Bobby Lee's sultry, silky voice. You know Bobby Lee. He's a great comedian. He's hilarious. You know him from his initial run on Mad TV. And then since then...
Nothing.
No. Actually, the opposite.
Absolutely nothing.
You work constantly.
I do work, but just little jobs here and there.
Right.
That's what I like.
Nothing
little
as
jobs.
big as the Mad TV.
That wasn't
exploded.
even big. I've never done anything really that big.
Mad TV was big.
Well, 14 Mexicans watched it. So if that's big to you, Tom, then, you know, it's big.
Was that really the demo?
Yeah, we would get the photos of the people that are watching. Raul's watching, and then we'd be like, sign it and stuff.
But that was a pretty popular show, wasn't it?
I
My
think for
perception was that it was popular.
Well, I mean, it was SNL's Bitch.
How many years?
I was on it for 8.
8?
But the show was on for 14.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Well, that's a big show then.
I did the last 8.
Wow.
Yeah, but we never got any like billboards, or we never really were advertised in any kind of magazine, so it felt like a community theater, really.
Interesting.
Yeah, there was like homeless people sleeping outside my dressing room and stuff. There was like no security.
Where did it shoot?
On Hollywood, at Hollywood Center Studios.
Oh my
yeah.
God, I did a show there.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
It's all tranny prostitutes.
Yeah, outside.
Outside.
Yeah. So it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like you're on a show.
In the beginning, in the day, you're like, wow, I'm in Hollywood. This is like where they did Lucy. And this is like, it's like a little crummy studio, but they had a lot of history.
A lot of history.
And then the sun goes down. And then all of a sudden, you need someone to walk into your car.
Yeah. It's very scary.
See, but that was a good for you, though.
I mean, well, from doing just stand-up as an open micer, yeah,
Right.
I mean, it was a huge break for me.
That was early. How long were you doing stand-up when you got that gig?
I had been doing stand-up for about 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah, so I got really lucky.
That's early.
I did The Tonight Show on Leno around the same time, and then I got Mad TV. I remember getting a commercial, too. It was a really good year, and then it was just downhill from there, really, to be honest with you. It was really sad after that. But, you know, when you get stuff in the beginning, you get really excited, and, you know, you all these dreams in your head. I'm going to buy this house.
Yeah.
And just that stuff just never really pans out, you know what I mean? And you're just as miserable as you did, you know what I mean, when you started. And, nothing fixes you.
Nothing fixes you, no.
Yeah.
If you had a hit show right now, would you be fixed?
I don't know, because I've never been on one, but in my mind, I think I would be fixed. But I don't think in reality I would be, because I still wake up with me.
Right.
You know what I mean? With my face and with my, you know, horrible character defects. There's a love-hatred. You know? I mean, you know, as a kid, I grew up in a I was born in San Diego, but then I lived in Minnesota for a long time. I had really no friends.
Oh no.
Yeah, I always looked different. I was always
Were you the only
smaller.
Asian guy in Minnesota?
Yeah, I think at the time I was.
Really?
Yeah. There was a guy named Tom Roach who was adopted, but I don't really count that really, because he has white parents and stuff.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, but he was also Korean, and my father was very like an alcoholic. And
Your
abusive.
father was?
Yeah, and abusive.
He was?
Yeah, he was physically. My parents were both physically abusive, and it was a really dark kind of a childhood. I think.
Was he really just frustrated and with his own life?
Well, no. I mean, he was a boxer. He was a professional boxer. He was in the Korean Army, and his record was 0-8. Like he never won.
Right.
Like he lost 8 in a row.
Is he still alive?
What?
Is he still around?
Yeah, he's still around.
Right.
Yeah, and yeah, he was an alcoholic. He was a workaholic also. He had this job where he opened a clothing store called Fashion Gal. And what it was like a Lane Bryant but for ethnic women.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, for like Samoans and stuff.
In Minnesota?
Yeah, in Minnesota we had 5 of them. And then my whole family, including my uncles, we had like 75 stores in the country. So it was
Holy
doing all right.
cow.
Yeah.
So they had a little dough.
Yeah, so my dad would just work, come home, and get drunk, and then go crazy.
What would he get drunk on?
Whiskey.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's such a mean...
It's a mean one.
It's a mean one.
Yeah.
It makes people mean.
Yeah, one night, I'm sorry to be dark.
How many kids?
My brother and I.
Your brother?
Yeah. One night I was about 10 and my brother was about 7, and at 3 a.m, my mom came into our room because we slept in the same room, and my mom's mouth was bleeding, and my dad had punched it out.
No.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Happy New Year.
So he was like that. So he was kicking ass on everybody?
Yeah. I mean, he was extremely crazy. And then
Jeez.
later, when my brother and I got bigger, he wasn't able to do it anymore because we fought back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're like, did you sit with your brother and think, look, he's 0-8. We can take him.
Yeah.
That must have been an insane thing. I mean, the father is such a dominant force.
Yeah.
And you go from like thinking he's a god, and then, then slowly you like, they're always on that mantle to some degree.
Yeah.
But to then have to like consciously be like, no, I'm going to have to take him out if I'm going to survive. That must have been a huge...
Yeah, and also it's like, that's where I developed my sense of humor, I guess. You use it as a defense mechanism, right? So it's like, it's a survival thing, So I would act up in school and, luckily I didn't become violent myself, I'm not a violent person, yeah.
Were you funny in the house? Like, were you trying to keep everybody like light?
My brother, I mean, I think we kept each other alive, I mean, my dad chilled out later in life. I became a drug addict later. Like in high school, I went to 3 rehabs.
Really?
Did you know that about me?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, 14 years sober now,
right?
But I had 12 years before, so I've been in and out of like sobriety. So it all stems from like I think my dad's alcoholism. I believe I was born with it, and yeah, it reared its ugly head when I was probably 8th grade.
8th grade.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Pot, and beer and stuff. Yeah.
And were your parents aware of it?
No, because they're from a different country, so they don't, when immigrants come here, especially in the 70s, they don't think that, and they came in the 60s, they don't think that their kids are going to get into that, right? I mean, my mom would find, my pipe and weed, and I could just convince her that it's oregano and it's for cooking class. I told her that.
Really?
And she goes, oh, okay, yeah. She gave it back, and I did methamphetamines also.
No.
Yeah. So
back then?
Oh yeah.
I didn't even know it was around.
Yeah, in Poway where I'm from, it was rampant.
Really?
Yeah, and she would find a mirror and the little straws and stuff, and she would give it back.
No.
Yeah.
Just had no idea.
No idea. But then I was on the wrestling team in high school, and I would cut weight with the meth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then is this too dark?
Not at all. This is perfect. No, this is perfect. It's not that dark.
I dove into my darkness.
We've had darker.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, good.
Yeah.
So I'll continue then. And I used to cut weight with the meth, but that spiraled into me not going to school and then me acting up at home and getting, getting in trouble at home. Yeah. So I got kicked out of high school.
You did get kicked out?
Yeah.
Did you finish?
I got kicked out of my sophomore year. I went to rehab, got sober, and then I relapsed. And in my junior year, I got kicked out again for a semester.
Right.
So then when I was in rehab the third time, like I went twice in my junior year. The third time I got it. What happened was I was at this place called the McDonald Center, which is in La Jolla.
Mm-hmm.
And in one time in group, it was a lockdown facility, so I had to wear pajamas and stuff.
Were you living back out here, or you just came to the rehab here?
No, I was living in San Diego. Yeah, so we lived in Minnesota. Then we moved out here when I was in middle school, so I didn't get to. Yeah, so I was living in San Diego.
Oh, okay.
So it's in La Jolla, and I one day at group, I yelled, I go, Koreans aren't, you know what I mean, alcoholics. Like, you never go to a meeting and see Asians, you know what I mean? Like, it's a white people thing and a black people thing, sometimes Hispanic, but never us,
Right.
because we're evolved, you know? Like, we make things and we, you know what I mean? We have good work ethic or whatever.
Right.
And the counselor was like, you're wrong. I go, no, you're not. I've never seen it. And then, so the next day I woke up and I got a knock on my door. And they go, there's a man in the lobby to see you. And so they brought me out to the lobby, and I'm wearing pajamas, you know, little kid.
Yeah.
And there was a man there, a Korean man with long hair down to his buttocks. And he had tattoos to his wrist.
Ooh.
Right? He looked like a character from Mortal Kombat.
Wow.
And he looks at me, right? He was adopted too. His name was Dan. And he was adopted later in life, in like when he was 14 or something.
Right.
Right, from Korea, which is weird. And he goes, I'm Dan. I'm your sponsor. And I go, don't I choose? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
you're scaring.
Yeah, he's scaring me. And he appointed himself, and he changed my life.
He did.
Oh, my God. Like, he made me, after I got out of rehab, go to AA meetings as a junior in high school every day.
Wow.
He made me take a 0 period so that I can graduate with my class, and a lunch period, and a 7th period. So I was there like twice as long as any other kid.
Wow.
Yeah, and he really, like, I went to a monastery during the summer for a week and didn't talk, and we meditated. So I really learned.
Did you trust him right away, or
oh my God,
were you
he saved
resisting?
my life.
Were you resisting him in the
No,
beginning?
because I knew that I didn't want to die.
You were conscious of that.
Yeah, I mean, I was very conscious of it, and also I felt for the first time in my life hope in my life.
And so basically from 8th grade to junior year is the time when you were kind of spinning. Really spinning.
Crazy.
And were you, did you feel at that time that you were really hurting?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to die.
You did?
Oh, yeah. I didn't want to live anymore. I had no reason to live.
Did you have friends?
No, not really. You
No?
know, yeah, I just, it was predominantly like a rich white kind of area, you know what I mean? So it's like I just didn't really felt like I fit in. And
Right.
you know how like they have like Sadie's Hawkins where the girl asks the guy for the dance? I
Yeah.
never went to that. Like,
Right.
none of the girls would ask me. I lived a painful,
That's hard.
yeah.
You know, it's interesting as you're talking, you know, I was in a pretty white suburban place, and I fit right in. But there were a couple Asian kids who really struggled. They really had a hard time. And, you know, I thought that we got along and stuff, but they did feel like they were on the outside. And I only bring it up because today it's so different.
Oh my God, it's so different.
Like a kid now, first of all, there's more everybody.
Yeah.
There's more Asians and stuff. But even if there wasn't, even if the ratio was still 2 to 100, it would have been embraced and looked at. It's such a more inclusive in such a short time.
The internet. I think the internet helped.
Yeah.
Because it connected the world.
Uh-huh.
And when I go to my shows now, and when I, do shows, the people that come out, like I'll see like an Asian kid with gold teeth. He's got 3 white girls with him. They're wearing miniskirts. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they all are dating him. You know what I mean? And I'm in my head going, this is a miracle.
It's a miracle.
You're so lucky.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing during my time.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's changed in that way.
So incredible.
Yeah. I think it's great. The
It's
internet.
great. It's
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, because it's, we're not old. That's a short period of time for it to change like that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because what you have to do is that when you're a kid, you have to have role models.
Yeah.
Right? So growing up, all I had was kung fu guys.
Right.
Like it's either Bruce Lee or nothing really.
Right.
Right? So it's like, and I'm not a fighter. I was always kind of fat and weird looking, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I mean, I was on the wrestling team, but I still was like very, you know what I mean?
Doughy,
you know what I mean?
Right.
And
what weight were you?
I was 105.
Oh, wow.
But I was 5'1", you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. A midget.
Were you good?
Probably was all right.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was all right if I continued
good
it.
moves?
But when I got sober, I stopped that my junior year. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You had something else to work on.
But that, my sobriety, is what got me into stand-up.
Really?
Yeah, because what happened was...
It almost felt like I thought you were going to say that when you said Koreans don't go to rehab, that almost sounded like a bit. I thought you were going to say, and that became my first bit. Like everybody started laughing. This is a white people problem.
Oh, that's a funny joke.
Yeah, it sounds
I'm
like.
gonna use that. I'm going to use that. Can I use it?
Yeah, it's your joke. You said it.
At the end of my set, I'll say, Tom Papa told me that was
You
a
don't
joke.
have to say.
No, I'm going to do it. I'm going to give you credits.
Okay, do it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I remember being 23 sober, and I really had no future. I literally was going to a lot of meetings. I was, very active in that part of my life, but no girls, no money,
Right.
no hope.
Right.
I didn't go to college.
What were you doing? What were you doing for
I was
money?
working at coffee shops and restaurants, waiting tables and stuff.
Were you funny?
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
You were the funny one at the coffee shop?
Yeah. I mean, I've always been, since I was sober the first time, funny. I think that, I mean, not, just goofing around, you know what I mean? A lot of fart jokes.
Right.
Right, like farting on people and stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I was working at a place called Panikin, and then I worked at another place called Disc Cafe, and Disc Cafe closed, and I didn't know what to do for a job. It was literally right next to the La Jolla Comedy Store.
Ah.
Have you been down to La Jolla?
No. I've been to La Jolla, but not to the Comedy Store.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, why don't you? Oh, yeah, because you want to get paid to headline. Is that what you want?
I guess so.
Easy cash.
I guess they didn't.
Yeah.
They never made an offer.
Yeah. No, because they were like more of like the Comedy Store here.
Right.
I mean, they would probably give you, I don't know, but more than the normal guy.
Is it a good club?
It's probably one of the best rooms in America, but
Really?
they just don't pay.
Right.
Yeah, it's not like, you're playing Bellevue, right, with Ruben.
Right.
I love that room.
Yeah, it's a good room.
But people pay hard cash, right?
Right.
You pack it out.
Right.
And you get a percentage probably and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's a really good deal.
Right.
Yeah.
In La Jolla.
That's how I do it. They don't do that in La Jolla.
They don't.
No, they give you, well, I mean, they were paying me $75 a show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, I can't do that. I can't.
But it must have been a fun place to start.
Great place to start.
Yeah.
I knocked on the door. They wanted a help wanted sign for a bar back. I opened it. The door opened during the day. It was a guy, Fred Burns. He was paraplegic. He was the manager there. And he goes, "Hey, what do you want?" And I go, "I need a job." And he goes, "All right, what? Hey, you work next door?" I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, well, can you wash dishes?" I go, "Yeah." And I washed dishes there.
Ah.
And then one night during open mic, I watched the stage and I saw young people go up.
Right.
And they were horrible.
Right.
I mean, just absolutely the worst thing you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like,
Ugh.
I could try it.
Right.
And then I moved up pretty fast.
Really?
Yeah.
But did you have at any point when you were younger, were you thinking comedy at all?
Yeah.
You were?
Yeah, because when I got sober, when I was 17, I got sober, I used to go down to the Pacific Beach Improv.
Uh-huh.
And Mike Carano, who still works for the company today,
Right.
was the manager down there with Dave Becky.
Ah.
Okay?
Right.
So this is the late 80s.
Right.
And I used to skateboard down there, and I knew Mike, and Mike used to sneak me into the rooms. Now, I didn't know why I wanted to watch the shows.
Right.
Then. I know now because
Yeah.
I was interested. I
Yeah.
was drawn to it. But, like, he used to stick me back there, and I used to watch. I bring it up to Tom Rhodes because Tom Rhodes was headlining then, and Tom Kenny,
Right.
Bobcat Goldthwait. I saw them all.
Wow.
Regan, I saw Regan a couple of times.
Jeez.
And it was a really eye-opening.
Who was your favorite at the time?
I really like Bobcat Goldthwait.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he wasn't what I saw in the movies and on TV. He was actually a very good stand-up.
Right. Yeah.
Very smart.
Smart and thoughtful.
The
Yeah.
jokes were good. He didn't do so much of that character on stage.
Yeah.
It would come out, but he was, and also on top of it, a very nice guy.
Right.
And I think I learned that from Tom Rhodes and Bobcat and these guys that when I was a kid, I mean, they didn't talk to me, but they they shook my hand.
Yeah.
And they weren't douchebags. You see a lot of douchebags, Tom.
You do.
Yeah, we don't want to name names, but you know that they're out there.
Yeah.
And I just don't know why they're like that.
I know.
Right, Tom? I mean, you've always been so
completely.
nice.
Completely.
Yeah.
There's just well, I think there's two camps. I think that there's the one camp that as comedians, anyone who else is a comedian, they get a free pass right away and you just embrace them and bring them in and until they prove themselves wrong, they're part of the club. And then there's others who they're a comedian and no one else is going to get in. Everyone's a competitor and screw you. You know?
Yeah.
It's what I really am enjoying now
What?
is going around to different clubs and using different people to open for me and hearing the stories of people who are shitty.
Yeah.
You know, like at the DC Improv, it's like this big. You know, it's like the green room is like the size of a closet.
Yeah,
you know,
it's got a little
tiny.
hook too. Like, yeah, to it. Yeah.
And to be in that tiny room with two opening acts, an MC and the middle guy, and to act like an ass to those people in that tiny space. Could you imagine? Like that would take
So much energy.
so much energy,
So much negative energy.
so
to do
uncomfortable, and I've heard a couple stories recently of like, oh yeah, I opened for so and he didn't even let me stay in here.
that. No, right? Or he didn't even talk to me once. And
Mm-hmm.
like for me, I bring my feature, and
Yeah, I do
the
that
reason
more
why I
often.
do that is because of the fact that I want to help these young guys out. You know,
Yeah.
and I use a lot of women.
Yeah,
I've used, Whitney Cummings back before she made it.
Right.
I used Sarah Tiana and Jade Catapretta and a bunch of girls
Nice.
and a lot of guys too. And
Yeah.
I like to give people a shot, but it's like, yeah, I don't even treat them like they're opening. They're friends.
yeah, exactly.
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest thing is having someone to eat lunch with,
Yeah, but it really is.
right?
Yeah, and somebody just to be around that
Yeah.
you trust.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Exactly. I know you don't want to roll the dice and be in some club with a guy you don't know, and if he's awkward and you don't, mesh, and then you're like, all right, I guess I'm going to sell my own this
Yeah,
weekend.
I made some mistakes though.
Yeah.
I took this kid. I'm not going to name his name, but from the Comedy Store,
Uh-huh.
and he opened for me at Caroline's.
Uh-huh.
And one show he was featuring, he gets off a stage, he looks me right in the eyes. Guess what he says? He says, "Follow that." To me, I'm the one that flew you out there. Now it's a competition.
That is
I mean,
ridiculous.
I almost went out of my mind. Like I bought him a hotel room. You know what I mean? I got him a plane out there.
That is
I
ridiculous.
never used him again.
Of course not.
Yeah, I was in Houston once, and some MC who I didn't bring, he was just a local guy, goes, "Yo, man, I don't even know why I'm hosting. I'm a headliner."
Oh, it's the worst.
And you want to go, well, then just don't do the shows then.
Yeah, why are you here?
Yeah, why are you here? Because I don't want your energy into my show.
They must be asking you to headline somewhere then.
Yeah.
They're probably waiting for you right now.
Right now, somewhere. You know what I mean? Yeah, but they just have this, attitude.
Yeah.
It's like,
There is a rash of young comedians right now. I just have noticed it in the last month of very poor, not funny comedians, but with the confidence of a 20-year veteran. They're walking
my
around
God.
up on stage. They're not getting laughs.
Yeah.
They walk off like they just killed,
yeah,
and there's just nothing there.
I know.
But they're so confident. I think it literally is a manifestation of being told, this new generation being told you're great and you can do anything and forget anybody that's going to try and stop you. So they just walk around like,
It's also bringer rooms. There's a phenomenon in the last 10 years called bringer rooms, whereas if you're a new comic, to do some of these shows, like in the main room at the Comedy Store,
right,
where, Sammy Davis Jr. performed,
right,
and like Richard Pryor and George Carlin,
yeah,
right?
right,
And now the main room has these bringer rooms where if you can perform if you bring 20 people,
right,
right? So what that gives them is a packed room,
right,
right? So here these guys are, they're new,
yeah,
and they get to perform in front of these packed rooms in the main room,
right,
and they think they're like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At my level,
Right.
Because of the fact that I play the main room too. It's like, no, I was asked by the
Yeah.
actual club to play there,
Ugh.
right? And so they think that they're.
It's so funny.
I know a girl who I'm not gonna name her name, but she's rising, and she's on Tinder,
Uh-huh.
and when she matches with guys, she tells them, "Come to my show," which is a bringer room. So she has 40 guys that she matched with.
No.
They're sitting in the showroom, thinking that they're going to go on a date with her.
And thinking they're the only one?
They're the only one, but they're all there just so that she can, get into the show.
That is brilliant.
Yeah, it's
She's
very
booking the room through Tinder.
from Tinder. Yeah,
That is hilarious.
she's going to go to hell for it. I think.
Oh, my God. That is ridiculous.
Because back in the day, you did open mics, correct?
Yes.
For how long?
Not that long. I moved up pretty quickly. They started hosting me really quickly.
Well,
I started in New York.
In New York.
And I started doing like stand-up New York a lot. And Carrie Hoffman was the manager there, the owner. And, you know, I'd do open mics. We had some bringer shows. It wasn't like that many people, but it was, you'd bring a couple friends and they'd sit in the audience. And I just got recognized pretty quickly. And then he started asking me to host the regular shows.
Awesome.
And then I just did all of that and just kept going. I didn't really, the open mics, you know, you get kind of like, you know, you start out, you do everything, but then you quickly realize some things help you and some things hurt you.
Yeah.
And there were some of those open mics that were so dark and awful that it was like, this isn't helping me at all. It's just making me sad.
It also doesn't, you have no carrot there.
No.
You need to see, you know what I mean, what could happen to your life.
Yeah.
And a lot of these open mics, all you see is doom. Right?
Totally.
You show up and it's like
a therapy session.
You sign up and you're, you know what I mean, 96th on the list. I'm not even kidding you. Some of these.
I know.
And then you're up at 3 a.m, you know what I mean, in front of nobody.
Have you ever gone on to one of those open mic shows like in recent years just because you happened to be there and there was like did you ever do that? I went to the Laugh Factory and I just kind of walked in and it was open mic and it was like, you know, barren, like 10 comedians just sitting in the audience. And Jamie's like, you want to go on? I was like, yeah, I'll go up.
Yeah.
Just for fun. And you realize this is the hardest thing you can possibly do. Angry, uncomfortable room. No one's going to laugh. I was like, I've been doing this a long time, and this is scary.
Yeah, and you don't even I don't even know how I even got funny based on that. Because you need to be able to hear, right, laughter at certain beats. But most of those open mics, you could do the best joke in your arsenal, and you'll get nothing.
Right.
So
but you do, like, if you start to see who actually can do it and who can't.
Right.
Kind of thing,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. You start
you can tell. I feel like right away.
100%.
Can't you?
100%.
I mean, you can tell the crazies.
Yeah.
And you can tell guys that, you know what, this person, they ate it.
Yeah.
But you can tell, even if their jokes aren't there yet, you can see that the thought's there, or, you know what I mean, their intuition.
Yeah. You can just see, that's going to be, they've got something.
Yeah.
Did you, so you started there and you started going up, they just started putting you up from dishwashing into the open mics and bringer shows.
And the manager goes, hey, if you doorman on Saturday nights,
right,
you can host.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I said, okay.
This is great. This is literally, this is what it is. It's like he could tell you, wash dishes, take the money from the people, sit in the stool outside.
Yeah.
And you don't even think twice, like, should I be doing? You're just like, okay, I'm going to do this. That's the difference of the people who make it and don't make it. It literally comes down to, no, you don't even think twice. I'm just doing this so I can be a comedian.
Yeah.
And like, if you look back, like if right now, if you were like, wait, I got to go wash dishes and go stand outside, like
But you know what, Tom, it was paved before us.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, Jimmy Schubert, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know that, and Mark Maron, I know that they worked the door at the Comedy Store in the late 80s, right? So, David Letterman did the cover booth at the Comedy Store.
Right.
Sam Kinison was a doorman.
Yeah.
So it's paved before you.
Right.
Now with this YouTube and stuff, kids are like getting fans right away, and they're getting rushed into the spotlight. And for me, I'm glad that I had that school.
100%.
Right? Because I remember working the door when I moved to LA. I worked the door.
Right.
And George Carlin would do once a year, a week there.
Wow.
Right. And George one time asked my name.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, kid, what's your name? I go, my name is Bobby Lee. And for 3 years after that, every week, he knew my name.
Really?
He never forgot it.
Amazing.
Right. And you, as a kid, you learn the class. You know what I mean?
Yes. Well, that's why you're a great comedian. You know, and you went through the right things, and you have an act, and you really work hard at it, and you are this new generation of confident people who call themselves comedians. They have no act, they have no jokes, and they don't know the other comedians.
Yeah.
They literally don't know who came before them. Like you say, you knew Mark Maron was ahead and all these other people, so and the respect, and you learn from them. These guys don't even know who comedians are. They just know that they can put a funny video up, but they won't last.
You don't think?
No.
It
can't last.
I thought that, Tom, but the thing is that now, like, I'm with a pretty big agency, right? They're signing up, right? All these YouTube stars and stuff, right? And I'm not going to name the name, but like, I remember my agent calling me saying, so and so, who's a kid, right? Wants to come to your show. He's got 8 million followers on his YouTube channel, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And he's going to come to your show in Pasadena to watch you perform. I want you to convince him to do stand-up.
Right.
And so he came, right? He saw my show, and he looked at me and he goes, I'll never do that. He goes, I will never do that.
Why?
Because he goes, it just looks too much work. And he's like, it's too scary and whatever, right? And
he'll be fine, and that's fine, but he won't be a comedian.
Oh, is that what you're saying? Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. That's true.
They can be popular, they can make millions of dollars. I'm not saying that, but they're not going to be comedians.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to walk into a room anywhere in the world and go up for an hour and destroy.
Right.
It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. Because you need the work ethic.
It's a hard thing to build.
I know it is.
An act is a huge thing.
I know.
Your act is so funny. I started going to the Comedy Store. And by the way, you're listening to Come to Papa on Sirius XM 99 on Raw Dog. I'm here with my good friend Bobby Lee. What is your Twitter?
My Twitter and my Instagram is Bobby Lee Live.
Bobby Lee Live.
And BobbyLeeLive.com. And I also like to plug one last thing, my friend.
Yes.
I'd like to plug my podcast. It's called Tiger Belly.
Ooh. Is it a Korean influenced tiger?
It's an Asian one, and it's my girlfriend and I.
Oh.
And all we do is talk about our relationship. How
this has been a couple of years now.
3 years now, yeah.
Wow.
Almost, yeah. And we live together, and it's great.
I remember she was going to meet your parents for the first time.
Yeah.
It was very nerve-wracking.
You know, she's so crafty, Kalila.
Yeah.
Because we spend the night at my parents' house. And, if you spend the night in an Asian parent's house, it smells like a fish market in Okinawa. It stinks.
From the cooking?
Yeah, it's cooking. And then when you open up the refrigerator, there's always things you have to explain, like a gigantic orange, you know what I mean? Jug full of like a liquid, you know what I mean? That they go, what is that? You know what I mean? But Kalila, you know what I mean, is half Asian.
Right.
And then, so I sleep that night with Kalila in our bed upstairs. And then I wake up at like noon. She had been up at 9 and she went downstairs to hang out with my parents. And all I heard was laughter.
Really?
Yeah, them just laughing at jokes and watching TV, and she's teaching them how to, do things on the internet and stuff.
Oh,
and it's like she's
good.
crafty. And yeah, you need a girl that crafty.
That's great.
Yeah, I knew then.
Yeah.
That this is it.
Wow.
Yeah, you need somebody that's going to be like that with my parents, because if 100%. My parents say, "I don't like her," it's over.
Right.
There's no way I can do it.
But what's your relationship with your parents now? I mean, you went through this time when your dad was completely off the rails.
I got sober.
Yeah.
And what happened was, when I got sober in high school, I wanted to make amends to them. And by making amends to them, what I did was I stayed at home after graduation for a couple of years. I worked at their store for free. You know what I mean? I helped with my brother, like taking him to wrestling tournaments and stuff like that. And I was a boys counselor at the McDonald's Center.
Wow.
And I just kind of was there for them. And then when I started doing stand-up, they kind of disowned me a little bit.
So wait, but when you were doing
when you were doing 23,
but when you're doing those couple of years of being cool and taking care of them and all that stuff, was he still drinking and still abusive?
He was, but the relationship had, because he had gone through so many rehabs with me, that he learned that I have a disease.
Right.
He learned about his own disease.
He did.
Yeah. And
did it tone his down at all?
No.
No.
No, but he wasn't violent. I don't know what happened, but there's a switch.
Right. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, but he was still, in his disease. And,
but he wasn't abusive to you any longer.
No. No.
Right.
And
so then you start comedy, and he's like,
and then that's when my parents were like, "What are you doing?"
Right.
And I go, well, I do stand. They didn't even really know what it was.
Right.
Because immigrants, they don't know prior.
Right.
Right. They don't know, we love Blake Clark.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just don't know what it is.
No.
Right. And
They just know it's not a real job.
they don't think it's a real job.
Right.
No. And they think I'm going to be destitute and broke the rest of my life.
Right.
So every month I would ask for money. Because I moved to LA,
Yeah.
and it would be a fight, but they would send it to me. And they acted as if, I was dead, really.
Really?
To the family, yeah, they didn't really
Jeez.
talk about what I was doing. I mean, I was sober, and they were happy about that. But what happened was I booked Leno.
Right. What year is this?
2000.
Mm-hmm.
And I booked Mad TV also that same year.
Wow.
So it was a really good year, but I had booked Leno, and that's when I did Leno, my parents saw it. And my dad called me the next day, and he cried.
Really?
Yeah, he cried, and he said, I'm so sorry I didn't support you. Like, he was really just in tears,
Jeez.
Because he also realized, they both did, my parents, that this was real. This is something that I really worked hard at.
Yeah.
And I
stuck to it.
The only thing in life I stuck to. Like, I'm such a degenerate when it comes to everything else in life.
Right.
Like, I don't know how to pay bills. I don't know how to show up for anything, really. But with stand-up, I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I did it every night for free for many, many, many years.
Right. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, sometimes I did 2-3 nights.
It goes back to what I was saying about how you just have to want it, and there's no way around it. Like, there's no decision making. Like, if your family even turns against you, and you're like, I'm still going
because that too is an addiction.
Right.
Right. When you do stand up, I don't know if you realize this, but for me, that was the most uncomfortable thing I've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
Where you go up on stage, and it's scary at first.
Yeah.
But eventually, this is what I say to young comics. When you first start off, you have to push yourself on stage.
Right.
But eventually what happens, you get pulled on.
Right.
Right? You get, like, you can't wait to go up.
Yeah.
Right? So that, once you get to that level or that point, your life is over.
It really is.
Yeah.
It completely is. I had, going into the holidays, I was like, all right, well, I've got about 2 weeks and we're going to travel to New York as a family, and it's going to be about 3 weeks of not doing spots. We're just going to hang with the family. Yeah. And I wasn't thinking about it as not doing spots. I just thought of it as, well, we're just going to hang out. We're going to see family. We're going to do the holidays. We're going to make lasagna. We're going to have a good time.
Yeah.
And about 2.5 weeks in, I'm like cranky. I'm like short with everybody. I'm just not myself.
Yeah.
And it dawned on me, I'm like, it's because I haven't been on stage. Yeah. I literally cannot survive without it any longer. You're right. Your life is over.
Yeah.
And then one spot, and I was like, oh, there we are.
Yeah.
Hey, hello.
It's a really weird thing.
It's so bizarre.
It's bizarre. And it's like, a lot of people go, well, I'll never be able to do it. I feel like, I don't know if I'm funny or talented. I just feel like I was just obsessed about it.
You're also very funny.
I know, but is it more obsession or is it more a raw given talent?
It's both. I mean, you found a place to put that bizarre talent is what it is. And you have this crazy, funny talent, and there happens to be a place where you can make a living doing it. And then there's the physical, mental part where you know exactly who you are there. I was thinking about this morning. Like, how often does your mood change when you're not on stage? Like, my mood changes like to the minute. Like, I literally can be like, I feel really good today. And then 2 seconds later, like,
yeah.
And then a little irritated and then feeling good. I mean, life is a very difficult, fluid, up and down. But
you internalize it though, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But when you're on stage, you know exactly the parameters. You know who you are. You are in that space.
Yeah.
And that is, to have that control over yourself and your feelings and your mental being is a very unique thing. Of course, it's kind of like a drug. It's like, I know when you do a drug, you know how you're going to feel.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
If
yeah.
I drink, I know I'm going to feel this way.
Yeah.
Stand-up is pretty much as reliable as that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and because it's also, I think, I always felt invisible, kind of, in life.
Right.
I would walk into a bar or a party, and I used to feel invisible, like transparent.
Wow.
Like in my head, you know
Yeah.
what I mean, I would torment myself in my head.
Yeah.
They hate me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nobody cares about you here. You know,
Right.
like I would when I was 21, I was sober. I would go to bars with friends, and they would hit on girls and this and that. I just wasn't able to do that.
Yeah.
I just felt invisible.
Uh-huh.
But as a stand-up, I no longer felt that way.
Yeah.
In fact, I was the guy getting the girls.
Yeah.
You know, and it was such it changed every portion of my life.
It's so great. I mean, it's so funny to think of you even in that way because, like I was starting to say before, I started coming back to the Comedy Store, or really for the first time going to the Comedy Store on a regular basis here in L.A., and I love it. It's just such a great club. It's the closest thing to New York for me that I can get, and it's so funny because for a while I was always following you.
Yeah, I don't know why.
For like a couple of months. It was
Why?
Every time I walked in, you were on stage. And it's so funny to hear you talk about you being like this shy guy because you dominate the room. It's the minute you get on that stage,
But you do
and
too,
you walk
yeah.
around with your belly out,
Oh, thanks.
and you just completely natural. It's like there's no way, there's no reality. You could sit and we could do this interview for 3 more hours. And you can talk about how quiet and shy and hard your upbringing is. Because
Yeah.
now you're a beast.
Yeah.
You're just up there like completely controlling 200 people.
Oh God, it's so weird to even
So-
think that, man. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you missed it, Tom. You came in. You were part of the reason why the Comedy Store now is great.
Uh-huh.
Because there was I've been there as a doorman since the mid '90s. Like
Wow.
I've never hopped ship. I'm very loyal.
Yeah.
I'm a loyal person. Like I'm
Yeah.
Korean in that way where I've never left my agent.
Mm-hmm.
Like the reason I'm with CAA, people go, "You're with CAA." They're like the biggest, but the only reason why I'm with them is
Yeah.
because I followed my agent from the smaller agencies
Right.
up.
Right.
I would just we won't leave each other.
Right.
But I'm the same way with the clubs, right?
Yeah.
So I've been at the Comedy Store since the medieval days. When we on a Tuesday night we would have no audience,
Really?
and we had to wait for 2 hours for 6 people to come in. Yeah, it was a dismal
It was
place.
dark. Yeah.
But when like a couple of years ago, right, it shifted,
Yeah.
and we got a new talent coordinator in,
Right.
and as soon as that happened, it just shifted, and you were one of the pleasant surprises that
Right.
came.
It was so
you,
good.
Bill Burr,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of New York guys, Dove Davidoff, a lot of these guys,
Right.
showed up, and we got rid of all the guys that would just made that place so awful.
There was like a weird like slew of people that were just negative. It just felt like it was a
That's
negative
what it
space.
was.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
you would
so
have
much
guys that
fun
would
now.
do 4 hours on stage.
Oh no.
Oh, like I mean, I can name them because I don't really like the guy, like Eddie Griffin.
Oh really?
Like Eddie Griffin was like, "I'm going up," right? And he would do 4 or 5 hours, and then we wouldn't be able to go up
Literally 4 hours?
every night.
No.
Sometimes it would go Eddie Griffin, Andrew Dice Clay. Although I'm friends with Dice, they would do 3 hours apiece.
3 hours?
Yeah, and then Mencia would be there to go up after Dice.
Oh my god.
It was the worst club you could ever imagine, and then we'd get no audience
Oh.
because that you would just see that.
Oh my god.
And then when Mitzi was booking in the room,
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding you, Tom. One time on the lineup, I read Rodrigo. That was going up.
Uh-huh.
It was Mitzi's landscaper who told her that I would do certain things for free around your house.
No.
I've always wanted to try stand up.
Oh no.
Right? That's what we were dealing with.
Oh my god.
But I mean, God bless Mitzi. I mean, I do love her for making me a regular.
Yeah.
If you don't know who Mitzi Shore is,
Legend.
it's Pauly Shore's mom.
Yeah.
And she started the Comedy Store back in the early 70s, her and Sammy Shore. And she started everyone's career.
Yeah.
And she's a legend.
Letterman.
But toward the end of her, of her reign there, she kind of lost her mind.
It's kind of like your grandma who can't cook anymore, but keeps doing it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And and so you were a very pleasant surprise, man.
Oh, it's so great, and it's so fun to watch you work in there. You're so like free.
Well, thank you, Tom.
I always feel like I'm always like, what should I wear? I don't know, like, what should I wear tonight? And you just roll up there with like your t-shirt half on and
sandals. I wear sandals, sweats.
Totally. Do you think about what you're going to wear at all? You're just like, never.
No, you know why? Because here the thing is that people
It's
said
so funny.
in the beginning of my as an open micer, they said, well, I think stand-up should be classy and should wear a suit or whatever people would say, right?
Yeah.
And I just felt like, just be myself.
You're right.
And even in my material, like, it's pretty crazy, some of the things I say.
Right.
I just don't really change the way I do it because it's like, it's me. You know what I mean? I apologize that that's me, but I refuse to do it any other way, really.
Yeah, no, that's why it's great.
So it's like, I just, I sometimes wake up and I'll just go. Sometimes I woke up yesterday at 6 p.m.
Why? What did you do the night before?
Nothing. I played video games.
Till what time?
Till like 9, 10 in the morning.
Till 9, 10 in the morning?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So the night before that, you were on stage probably.
Yeah.
You got home at like midnight or so?
I come home, I say hi to my girlfriend, I'll make a sandwich.
This is at midnight.
Yeah, midnight, 2 in the morning, I'll go, you know what, I'm going to play some Fallout.
All right.
And then 9 in the morning, I'll go to sleep.
From 1 o'clock till 9, you're playing
Oh my God.
game?
I mean, sometimes I'll play with Eric Griffin, who's on Workaholics.
Yeah.
Him and I will get online together and we'll play till 10, 9, 11 in the morning.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I will not stop.
Really?
No, I play.
Is it that great?
I play about 9, 10 hours a day.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Were you like, how long a bunch of different games you've done that with?
No,
or
I'll stay
this
with
is like
one
a new
game.
thing?
Like for a year, I played with Destiny.
Right.
And now Fallout came out, so now I'm playing
What's
that.
Fallout? What
It's
kind
an
of game is it?
role-playing game where you create a character.
Right.
And it's a post-apocalyptic world.
Okay.
This time it's in Boston.
Uh-huh.
And you just kind of walk around. And you have a dog, or you can have, a girlfriend in the game.
Yeah.
And you walk around and you build houses.
Right.
And you shoot creatures, and it's a really fun game.
It's got to be fun.
Yeah.
Xbox?
They both Xbox and PlayStation.
Right.
And I can't believe my girlfriend's still with me.
Yeah, what does she do when she gets up to go to work in the morning?
This is what you do with any relationship if you're listening and it's new. I don't hide things up front.
Right. So
You say up front, okay?
Right.
This is my life. Okay?
Yeah.
I do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Okay? I play 9, 10 hours of video games a day.
9 or 10 hours
a day, yeah.
That's such a long time.
Yeah, it's a very long time. I do stand up, so at nights I go on the road a lot.
Right.
And if you can't deal with it, then this is not going to work out.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm
this is
weird.
me.
I'm weird sexually.
You are?
Yeah, I have weird fetishes and weird things that I do.
What's your main fetish?
Well, I don't know if your audience members would care, but I'm a choker.
Uh-huh. You like to choke or be choked?
I like to be choked.
To be choked.
Yeah. I like a little violence.
Right.
Yeah. And my girlfriend, actually, I didn't know this about her,
Uh-huh.
but I met her on Tinder.
Yeah.
We went on a date. And then a month in, I knew that this was going to be a thing.
Uh-huh.
But I waited a long time to have sex with her.
Right.
But the first time we hooked up, we were on a futon on her couch. Futon in her place in Long Beach.
Uh-huh.
And we were making out. And she punched me in the face. And then she said this afterwards. She goes, "Tell me you want to kill me." And as soon as she said that, I literally started crying.
You knew you were in love.
And I go, "This is love. This is pure love." And the Lord did it. You know what I mean? This was not.
This was
this is
divine
not
intervention.
Yeah, this is divine intervention. And then she also said, "I don't care you play video games. I love that you do stand up.
Right.
And all the things that I need in my life, she's able to be there for that.
Right.
And she's also good at, because I'm on the show, I'm reoccurring on a show called Love. It's on Netflix.
Uh-huh.
And it's Judd Apatow's Netflix show.
Oh, cool.
And I play a character in it.
Yeah.
And we went to the rap party for the first season, and here's the thing. you need to know that your date can handle it.
Right.
I'm going to tell you a story. I was on Mad TV,
Right.
and I met a girl who was an open micer, stand-up. And I'm not going to name her name. I hate her.
Uh-huh.
And she
She's
was
still
leading
around?
me on. Yeah, no, she quit.
Uh-huh.
But she was also leading me on. She just put me in a friend zone right away. But she
Right.
pretended like she wanted to hook up with me, but she didn't.
Yeah.
So I decided to fly her to the upfronts,
Uh-huh.
which is if you're on a TV show. I was on Mad TV.
Right.
Every year you go to the thing called the upfronts where they bring out shows
Right.
and you meet the critics and the press.
It's a big
to do
conference thing. Yeah.
And so, Fox, we had American Idol, Pamela Anderson had her own show at the time.
Right.
And so I bring this girl out, right? So there's a dinner with all the shows, and the center of this dinner is the president and all the executives
Right.
of the network.
Yeah. Big stuff.
So I'm at the Mad TV table.
Yeah.
We're talking, and I'm thinking, where's this girl? And I look, I see her handing out a business card to the president of the network.
No.
And she says, I'm a stand-up, and you should check my stuff out. As if that's the way you make it in this business.
Oh, my
I
God.
stood up, Tom. I grabbed her arm
Yeah.
violently, and I pulled away. And I said sorry to the whole table. They all knew who I was because it's like my 5th season
Yeah.
at this show.
Yeah.
So they all kind of laughed. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because they knew what I had brought to the upfronts, right?
Yeah.
And I said, if you ever do that again, I will kill you. Because, you know what I mean? If it wasn't, let's
It's
suppose
crazy.
it was my first year on a show.
Yeah.
And that would put a real negative effect on
Oh,
it.
my God. Yeah.
It makes you look unprofessional. It makes you look crazy too.
Yeah.
Right?
Of course.
So when you're now a stand-up or if you're in showbiz in some way,
Yeah.
you have to pick a partner that can deal with and know how to survive in these situations.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
That you're not going to, like, if I
It's a
brought
big thing.
Kalila to this love rap party
Yeah.
and she tries to get a photo with Judd Apatow, no, that's not going to happen.
Right.
And Kalila knows those instincts. That's her
Right.
name.
That's good.
And she doesn't do those things.
That's great.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure your wife doesn't do those things.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
But what does your wife do, your girlfriend do when she has a job, like a straight job?
No, what happened was, and now we're going to get depressed again.
Uh-oh.
And now we're going to get sad again,
Oh,
Tom.
no.
But she was a nurse.
Yeah.
And we went to the Philippines when we first dated.
Mm-hmm.
And she had a heart attack.
She did?
Yeah, she has a heart problem.
Oh, no.
Yeah, defect. And we had surgery.
Right.
And right now she can't work.
Oh, man.
So that's why I decided to start a business with her. So we started this podcast. It's doing well.
That's
And
good.
now we just got, a company to do our merch and stuff like that. So we're, making money.
Oh, good.
But so that's what she's doing. But
And how's her heart?
it's not great.
Yeah.
And we're at the hospital a lot.
Yeah.
At 3 a.m, she will go, I'm having an episode.
Shh.
And so we go to the hospital.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And it's another reason why I know.
Nerve-wracking.
It's nerve-wracking. It's also a reason why I know I truly, truly love her because I treat her like she's like my mom or dad. Like it's that
Deep.
vital and deep
Yeah.
and that urgent. So I race over there and it's an eye-opener.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's real life stuff.
It's real life stuff.
It's kind of that thing where you kind of break through when you really love people, and it's like you don't think twice. You just do stuff. You just do what you have
you
to
do
do.
what you
There's
need to
no
do.
like,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. And
How upset are you when she has an episode in the middle of one of your video games? That must be horrible.
well, I push pause. They have pause.
Could you play Fallout for like an hour, or it's just going to suck you in? Like, could I put Fallout in my Xbox and play for an hour?
Oh, you have an Xbox?
Yeah.
Are you a gamer?
No.
Well, then no. Yes, you could play for
I
an hour.
could.
Yeah, but because you're not.
I want to be. Like, I have an Xbox,
Yeah.
but I've just got. I have so many.
You have kids.
Yeah, I've got so many people in
I
my
don't have
house.
any kids.
Right.
Yeah, I have 3 cats, and cats, they just do their own thing.
I mean, we're recording this at noon, and you said on your way in, like, I almost didn't make it. I couldn't. It's so early for me.
I barely woke up.
I was up at 7. I've already worked on my act. I went for a run. I dealt with my wife's stuff. drove over here. Like my day's winding down.
I don't even know what that is. What you're doing. I mean, how crazy.
That's
is
why
that?
when I watch you at the Comedy Store, I'm like, oh, he seems like he's just having so much fun with his life.
I just woke up.
I know.
Yeah.
Right. When I'm doing a spot at 10 o'clock at night, it's like, whew, I have been up a while.
But Tom, you know what I miss, and what I'm missing in life, is having children.
Yeah, you'd be a good dad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
You'd be a
missing
fun dad.
gigantic element of what I think life is about. I'm selfish in that way.
You got time. You got plenty of time.
I'm pretty old though.
You're the guy.
What do you mean?
Doesn't matter.
It does.
Does not.
Because I look at Joey Diaz, he's a stand-up, and he just has a newborn.
Yeah.
And he's in his 50s.
Yeah.
And, and
he's older than you, though.
Yeah, that's true, but not that much older.
Yeah, but in essence, he's older.
Yeah, maybe.
You're young.
Yeah.
You're a young
But then if I have a kid, I can't play 16 hours of video games a day.
Not until he's 6.
Yeah. And it's like
It will, yeah.
All my friends, comic friends, Al Madrigal, Stephen Zizzy, all these people say you got to have it. It changed our lives. Steve Byrne just has a second one coming.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a trick.
It is a trick.
You're trying to trick me so that then when I have one, you're going to be like, ah ha ha.
Yeah,
and then I'm going to be
yeah.
like,
There'd be a little part. There's a little part to all those guys that'll be like, yes, finally, he doesn't get to do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Look, to not have them is not a bad way to go either. You can have a really good life.
Be real with me, Tom.
For sure.
Be real with me.
Okay.
What are the benefits?
The benefits is love. You have these people. It fills the house. It adds to your life. You start seeing the world through not just your own selfish face, but through these other people's faces. And it's just a little bit more, you're a little more connected to the natural world and the rhythms of time and life. It's a deep thing.
That's real.
It's real. But
give me the negative.
Your life is not your own.
Yeah.
That's the biggest negative. And look, there's a certain point where you kind of give in and you're like, what am I doing anyway?
Yeah.
But you seem to really be enjoying yourself.
Yeah. But let me say this, though. I have 3 cats.
Yeah.
Right. I know it's not the same thing.
No.
But one of my cats, my middle one, is sick. You know what I mean? He has a little, we don't know what's wrong with him.
Right.
But there's something internal going on.
Maybe he's diabetic.
Yeah. So I go and I've been taking him to vets, waking up early, and I really care. I want him to get fixed.
Sure.
So I know that I would be a good father. I know that I have the intuition, you know what I mean, to do it. It's just that it's the fear of not being able to. That's what, like you said, I want to be able to do what I want to do, but there's sacrifice.
Big time.
Huge.
Yeah. I mean, I went through it too. Look, you're similar. We're similar in that you're tight with your parents.
Yeah.
You're tight with your family's important to you, obviously.
Yeah.
You still went through all that with your folks and stuff, and you're still tight. Means that family holds a big place in your life. So, to not continue it would be a sacrifice. You're sacrificing either way. You're going to either sacrifice your free time and all this fun, crazy Bobby Lee experience solo, or you're going to sacrifice not having the continuation of a family, continuing all that stuff.
Yeah, I have this vision that, because sometimes when I go on the road and I come back, like collide a little bit, our sisters or whatever, I'll just come into an empty house with cats.
Yeah.
And I have this vision of a kid saying, "Daddy,"
right?
And I get why that would be an appealing thing to have a kid when I'm going to sleep. Like, obviously, if I had kids, I would change my sleeping patterns, and having a kid next to me just look at me, in that way would be thrilling, I think, and I think it would change me for the better. It's just that fear factor of actually pulling the trigger, because there's also financial things too, right?
Yeah, but that kind of takes care of itself. You work hard, you know how to deal with your stuff, and look, my biggest thing, honestly, was my wife and I. We both were like, I don't know if we're going to do it. But when I met her, I kind of knew it was going to happen. But I was like, look, I'm a comedian. You're an artist. You soak up everything in the world and you experience life. Why are we not going to do that biggest one? Why are we going to deny ourselves the biggest experience? And that was the thing that clicked. I was like, yeah, why would I not go down that road?
Oh my God.
So then I did it. And it's not, it's hard. And there's a lot of years when you're confused and you're fighting it because you want to hang on to your life and all. But it's the experiences are so rich and so nonstop, good and bad. It's just, you know what it is? Not having kids is like living in LA. It's like you do a couple things, you see a couple people, but you're just kind of blitzed out in the sun and you just kind of, not a lot happens to you. Having a family is like waking up on a cot in Times Square where there's just that much stuff happening, bombarding you all the time.
Wow.
Yeah. You'd be great either way.
I'm going to do it.
You should probably do it.
I'm going to do it.
You should do it, but promise me you won't change.
No, I mean, I'm going to...
I want to see you. If you have a kid, I still want to roll into the Comedy Store and see you in a goofy sweatshirt, sandals.
But I think also...
doing impressions of your dad.
My material would change. And that's kind of something that I'm also curious about.
Yeah.
Also, is that...
Your funniest stuff, to me, is when you talk about your dad.
Yeah.
And you talk about your place in the world.
Yeah.
To extend that is just going to extend your act.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
All right, great. We did something here today. All right, this was a great time. Plug some things, Bob.
All right, so I'm on Love, which is I'm only in 3 episodes. And then I'm also on a thing called The Awesomes, which is Seth Meyers' cartoon. I've been on it for 4 years.
Oh, cool.
And I never plug it, and I want to plug that.
Yeah.
And Tiger Belly, my podcast. And that's it.
Great. That's good stuff.
I know. I have some road dates. May I?
Yes, please.
And I'm going to just say, people, Tom Papa fans, I at the end of my shows, I kind of get naked at the end. So if you don't want to see that, then don't come to my show. But
completely naked?
Sometimes. But I'm in the Houston Improv February 12th through the 14th.
Good.
And I'm also at the Chicago Improv February 18th through the 21st.
Nice.
And then that's it.
Awesome.
I love you. Thanks for having me on, Tom.
You're the best. You're the best. I will be off at Bellevue up in Washington. That's close to Seattle. They closed the Seattle Club, so this is Seattle, basically. So I'll be there February 12th, 11th.
It's
through
literally
13th,
one of my
14th.
favorite clubs, by the way.
Parlor Live. It's a good one.
It's amazing.
It really is a good one. And then the NJ Pack, a big theater show in New Jersey. Go to tompapa.com and find out all the rest of the dates. Bobby.
Thank you.
Thank you for getting up and coming in and doing
Anytime
this.
for you, buddy.
All right, everybody. See you next time. Enjoy your life.